Hi, everybody. I'm Sherry Brown. I'm the director of the Massillon Public Library. I come to you tonight from the street out in front of the library, but I mean my dining room at home. So this is a strange kind of Prism Award, but it worked really well for the 2020 awards. So it's great to see you all tonight. Thank you all for being here because this is a very special evening for the library and for our winners. And I think, some of our teachers and administrators have heard this before, but let me explain the Prism Awards to those of you who are new. This is a very important award that was created by the board of the Massillon Public Library. There are 7 board members who are community members who actually run the operations and are my boss. So back, how many years ago, Ms. Klein? I'm thinking it was, I have it here.
26, 29, something like
Yeah,
that.
more than 20 years ago, there was a student in Massillon schools who got a perfect score on their the SAT test to go to college. And that wasn't something that anybody gave awards for. And the library board thought it'd be really great if the library could honor these special kinds of things. Maybe a student who has overcome some obstacle this year or has done something very unique and unusual that the schools don't give awards for. So they created the Prism Award, and Prism used to mean performance recognition in the schools of Massillon. But because the Massillon Public Library also serves our Fairless students, we now say it's performance recognition in the service area of the Massillon Public Library. So that's quite a mouthful, but you'll see winners tonight from our Fairless schools as well. So the award itself has 3 parts. The student is going to get a book that has been picked out for them that's age appropriate, and their teachers or nominator has picked from a list. And students, you will get a copy of that book. Another copy will go in your school library, and then there will be a copy at the public library as well. And there'll be like a plate in the front that will say, this book was given in honor of your name for being a Prism Award winner this year.
That's cool.
So we have several board members who are here. Oh, Mrs. Klein is showing it in her little square, if you could see an example of one of those book plates. It's really one of the most exciting evenings of our year. We appreciate very much year after year our teachers and administrators who really get behind this and take the time to write a nomination for the students. They are selected by teachers and principals, not by the library, but as soon as we read some of these, it's very uplifting every year. Then we're also going to have a beacon award, and a beacon, just like on a lighthouse, shines light for the ships to see. Beacon is an award for a teacher who shines the love of reading and books to his or her students. And so tonight at the finish of the Prism Awards, I will present a Beacon Award. Let's do a little Zoom etiquette for those of you who haven't done a lot of Zoom meetings. If you're not the person talking, you want to go to the bottom left hand of your screen and probably, is that right, Mrs. Klein? And click the little thing that looks like a microphone. It should show up red with a line through it. That means you're muted. So that means we don't hear the noises coming from your house. So I'm going to do that for myself so you don't hear phones ringing at my house or all kinds of things like that. So we do appreciate our school administration. I really regret that we can't all be together in the auditorium yet this year because usually there's balloons and cookies and punch and that kind of thing, but you're still very special to us. And I want to thank Laura Klein, who organizes this and makes sure the books are ordered and the certificates are made, and she coordinates all the nominating and selection. It's a huge deal. Also, I think on the call, maybe you can wave real big, Susan Baker, I saw, is our young adult specialist, or in words you probably hear more often, she's our teen librarian. So for the older students, and I think a cat just went by her her window. Susan is involved in selecting the books at that level, and Mrs. Klein is involved in selecting the books for the younger students. So I thank both of them. And we're going to start with our younger students. So we have two board members with us tonight. One is Kathleen Green, that you'll meet later, but Mr. Rick Artsner from the library board is going to start and present the awards to our first 5 winners.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me okay? Nod if you can. Okay. All right, good. Well, my first winner that I have is Zoe Ladd. Her parent is Wanda Dean Ladd. The reason she has won the award is for character and perseverance. She's a 3rd grader at Franklin Elementary School. She was nominated by Mrs. Brittany Weber and Mrs. Lori Dutton, teachers. Julie Andrews once said that perseverance is failing 19 times and succeeding the 20th. This has been a very challenging year, and the ability to keep moving forward when things get tough has never been more important. Mrs. Weber and Mrs. Dutton nominated Zoe for this award because of her good character and her ability to persevere through difficult circumstances. She is a hard worker and a great role model for her classmates, and her teachers appreciate her determination and her positive attitude. Zoe, you already know that perseverance is a very important special ability that will take you anywhere you want to go in life. And we know that you have a bright future ahead of you. Congratulations. The book that is chosen for Zoe, which will be placed in the library at Franklin Elementary, is Bad Kitty Goes on Vacation by Nick Bruhl. Bad Kitty's life is hard, but she is excited to take a vacation with her favorite uncle. When things start to go wrong, Bad Kitty will need to rely on her wits and her perseverance skills to save this trip. So thank you very much. Zoe, congratulations.
Mr. Archer, I'm going to break in too and say, students, if you're sweating it, you don't have to make a speech. I forgot to say that, because last year, one of the students was very worried they were going to have to make a speech. So we just get to applaud for you, and you don't have to talk. But at the end of each award winner, let's do the big Zoom clapping. So thank you. Back to Mr. Archer.
Thank you. My next winner is Jonathan Williams. His parent is foster parent Cheryl Trammell, and Jonathan has won for academics, compassion, courage, and perseverance. He is a 3rd grader at Gorell Elementary School, nominated by Alyssa Kappas, principal, and Amy Brawler, counselor. Robert Schuller once said that tough times never last, but tough people do. Jonathan is a young man who recently had to deal with some really tough times, but he still managed to learn and to grow in spite of the challenges he faced. Ms. Kappas and Ms. Brawler agree that Jonathan has excelled in school this year. He actually brought his grades up at a time when students would struggle academically. In addition to this, Jonathan has exhibited great kindness toward his fellow students. Jonathan is a good friend and a wonderful role model for his classmates and his siblings. Jonathan, your kindness, your hard work, and your positive attitude will continue to make you a success in middle school and beyond. And for that, we are pleased to present you with this award. The book chosen for Jonathan, which will also be added to the Gorell Library, is Big Nate Stays Classy by Lincoln Pierce. In this book, Big Nate survives the terrors of 6th grade, facing off against overzealous teachers, undercooked cafeteria food, and grade-grabbing classmates. Congratulations, Jonathan. The next winner I have is Braden Sanders. Braden's parent is Erica Sanders. Braden has won the award for citizenship and perseverance. 3rd grade, he's a 3rd grader at Whittier Elementary and is nominated by Mrs. Holly Regner, the teacher. Braden Sanders inspires others with his hard work and perseverance. Braden's teacher, Mrs. Regner, had this to say about him. Despite the pandemic and numerous personal challenges, Braden has blossomed into a confident, responsible student and a proficient reader. She also points out that his reading test scores jumped 24 points between the fall and spring tests. In fact, Braden showed the most growth in reading of all his classmates and earned an accelerated score on the state test in October. Braden has worked hard to model good classroom behavior for his fellow students. He raises his hand, participates in class discussions, and focuses on his schoolwork, all while maintaining a positive attitude. He believes in himself and never stops trying. Mrs. Regner says that this growth mindset has allowed him to truly blossom this year, and I know that he will continue to achieve his goals. Braden, you are exactly the kind of young man who deserves the Prism Award. We want you to know that we recognize how much you've achieved this past year, and we're all proud of you. The book chosen for Braden, which will also be added to the Whittier Library, is the Scholastic 2021 Book of World Records, including records of LeBron James becoming the youngest NBA player to reach 30,000 career points, the Boston Celtics for setting the record for the most championship titles, and soccer pro Cristiano Ronaldo, the person with the most Facebook fans, over 122 million and more. So, congratulations, Braden. My next award winner is Machias Ford. His parent is Tiffany Ford. He has won this award for character, citizenship, courage, and perseverance. Machias is in the 6th grade at Massillon Intermediate School. He was nominated by Mrs. Castile, teacher, and Ms. Hose and Ms. Vogel, school counselors. Leonardo da Vinci once said that learning is the only thing the mind never exhausts, never fears, and never regrets. Machias Ford is an excellent example of this principle in action. Machias comes to school every day to learn, and his positive attitude makes all the difference. He does everything he's asked to do in class, and he sets a good example for his peers. In addition to this obvious love of learning, Machias is also a good citizen and a good friend. It's been a difficult year, but he doesn't let his challenges define him, and he shows up at school every day willing to work hard and persevere. Machias, it sounds to us like that your personality, combined with your work ethic and love of learning, will equal great success in life. We are so happy to present you with this award. The book selected for Machias, which will also be added to the school library, is What is the Civil Rights Movement by Sherry L. Smith.
Machias.
In this book, Smith brings to life momentous events through the words and stories of people who were on the front lines of the civil rights movement in the 1950s and 60s. Congratulations, Machias.
That's probably my fault. I think I gave you a mispronunciation. Machias, do you want to tell us again how you pronounce your name? I'm sorry. Did we pronounce it wrong?
Did we pronounce the name wrong? Then I apologize if I did.
I'm sorry.
Machias.
Machias? Okay.
I got it wrong then. We're sorry.
Sorry about that. I'm going to go on to my next award winner. This is Logan Simons. His parent is Jessica Simons. The reason for winning is for character and perseverance. Logan is in the 8th grade at Fairless Middle School, and he was nominated by the entire 8th grade teaching team, and the form was submitted by Mr. Joshua Whitting, teacher. What an incredible compliment to be nominated for a Prism Award by the entire 8th grade teaching team. This is a special honor, and Logan Simons is a very special young man. Logan knows a lot about overcoming adversity as he suffers from a special kind of disease that's hard on him. However, he maintains a positive attitude, and his teachers report that he is an excellent student and an even better citizen. Logan is known for his excellent sense of humor and his kindness. Dealing with hardship can cause some people to become angry or bitter, but not Logan. He treats everyone as a friend, and he is an inspiration to his classmates and his teachers alike. Logan, you overcame so much, and we are incredibly proud of you. The book selected for Logan, which will also be added to the Fairless Middle School Library, is They Went Left by Monica Hess. In this book, Sophia, a Holocaust survivor, must persevere in order to find her brother, the only surviving member of her family. So congratulations, Logan. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Artsner. Now we're going to hear from Ms. Kathleen Green, who is going to have the next 5 Prism Award winners.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me, Sherry? Okay, I unmuted. I wanted to make sure. All right, I have, yes, 8th through 12th grade. Our first winner is Mary Hirscher, daughter of Dave and Liz Hirscher. She was nominated by Mr. Vince Lindsay, principal of Massillon Junior High School, where she is in the 8th grade. He nominated her for academics, the arts, and citizenship. Mr. Lindsay says that Mary is an overall outstanding student who shines in the areas of academics, the arts, and citizenship. We needed to learn more about this triple threat. It turns out that academically, Mary has been a 4-point student every grading period since she started at the middle school. Her arts accomplishments include playing trumpet, earning a 1 rating at solo and ensemble, playing in the jazz band, singing in the choir and show choir, performing in musicals, being an accomplished ballet dancer, and even dancing the major role of the Mouse King in the Nutcracker. As for citizenship, Mary volunteers to help with summer math and reading camp and helps at her church with everything from vacation Bible school to being an altar server. She serves as an ambassador for traveling tutus. You know, traveling tutus. Back in the day, when I was just a little child, Walt Disney made an animated movie, fantastic, Fantasia. And in that movie, there is a crowd of hippopotamuses, one of which I want for Christmas, dancing in pink tutus. I cannot think about or see a ballet without thinking about those hippopotami. This nonprofit sends dance apparel to kids around the world who might otherwise not get to dance. Mary spearheaded a bake sale fundraiser last fall and earned $700 for that effort. Amazingly, Mary has only been absent from school 2 days since 2nd grade, and that's only because of COVID. Mr. Lindsay says that Mary's quiet leadership has been an asset to the school. She is respected by students and staff alike, and her presence will be missed next year. He believes that Mary deserves to be recognized for making positive choices, for always demonstrating kindness, and for caring about those around her. We agree, Mary. We join your school and your family in congratulating you for being such an outstanding young lady. The book chosen for Mary is Geese Are Never Swans by Ava Clark and Kobe Bryant. Everybody probably recognizes the name Kobe Bryant as a very, very fine professional basketball player. He spent his entire career with the Lakers, and you probably may know his name right now because he and his daughter and the other passengers on a helicopter died in a crash, a little over a year ago in California where they live. But he had already written this book and it was published last July. The novel tells the inspiring story of a young swimmer facing a tragedy in his past as he trains for the Olympics. It's a fiction story, but the main character is Gus, who's 16 years old. And we learn at the very beginning of the book that his older brother, Denny, committed suicide while in college. And so Gus is faced with this total devastation and wants to do something with his life. So Kobe actually developed this story. And Ava Clark, who is a psychoanalyst and psychologist, writes YA fiction. So they got together and they wrote this story. She said that Kobe was a fantastic storyteller. The title of the book, Geese Are Never Swans, comes from an old adage that's just the opposite. If someone says that all their geese are swans, or if you refer to someone by saying, oh yeah, all her geese are swans, that means that that person has a very unrealistic view of life and thinks that everybody is just, and everything is just perfect when it may not be. So Kobe and Ava use a wonderful adage to make this story. I have put that book on reserve because I'm going to read it because I think it might be the best book. Our next winner is Diana. Oh, I forgot to clap. I clap for everybody else. Okay, Mary, that's for you. Diana Obrahero, whose mother is Jasmine Hilbert, was nominated by Christian Campbell, her teacher at St. Mary's School, where she is in the 8th grade. She was nominated for academics and character. And strangely enough, she also won the Prism Award in the 2nd grade at St. Mary's. Isn't that fantastic? Deanna, I know you'll be looking at this later, but she's not here this evening with her mom and her teacher because she's at St. Mary's being confirmed right now. Clear back in ancient Greece, Heraclitus knew that good character is not formed in a week or a month. It is created little by little, day by day. Protracted and patient effort is needed to develop good character. So said Heraclitus, and so say we. Mr. Campbell says that Deanna has already developed that good character from constant practice. He states that Deanna is an exceptional student and person. Deanna is a hardworking and selfless young lady who is always willing to lend a helping hand to her teacher or peer. Students, especially in her math class, will ask her to explain certain concepts to understand the material. Her intelligence and charming personality make talking to her easy for them, and the same qualities allow her teacher to trust her with any task. During her free time, Deanna enjoys reading, helping her family, and is involved in many extracurricular activities like volleyball and power of the pen. Mr. Campbell says that Deanna embodies the value of St. Mary's and represents both her family and school in the best ways possible. Deanna, we are honored to have you also represent the Massillon Public Library as a Prism Award winner. The book selected for Deanna and for the St. Mary's Library is Punching the Air by Ibi Zoboy and Dr. Yusef Salam. It is about artist and poet Amal, whose name means hope. A promising student at art school when an altercation causes him to be convicted of a crime he didn't commit. And following that, he is wrongly incarcerated. Ibi Zoboy is a best-selling author and previous journalist. Dr. Yusef Salam is a prison reform activist and poet. The book is written in verse, poetry. Amal is 16 years old, and the story follows his time in prison and how he was able to cope and become a better person. Congratulations, Deanna. Our next winner is Ethan Whitting, son of Eric and Kara Whitting. He was nominated by Dr. Larry Chambliss, principal of Fairless High School, where he is a senior. And he has been nominated for academics and initiative. There are some high achieving kids who are always in your face with their accomplishments, but that kind of student is not who the Prism Award is designed to spotlight. A popular graphic on Pinterest declares, shout out to all the silent achievers crushing their goals, but staying low key about it. Keep doing your thing. Silent achievers are a focus of the Prism Award. Dr. Chambliss says that Ethan Whitting is one of them. Ethan quietly goes about being a role model for his classmates. He is excellent at his academics and extracurricular activities and lights up any room he enters. When a fellow student needs help, he's the first to jump in and offer assistance. Fairless staff are amazed at his support for our school's overall accountability. He is outstanding and exemplary of his wonderful family. Dr. Chambliss says that the 2021 graduating class is filled with overachievers, and we know how much they have had to overcome in recent school years. But because Ethan is more reserved and shies away from the limelight, his efforts make him uniquely suitable for the Prism Award. We agree, and thank Dr. Chambliss for bringing you to our attention, Ethan. The book selected for you, your school library, and the Bellamy branch is We Didn't Ask for This by Adi Al-Sayed. This novel tells a story of an annual school lock-in that goes awry. Instead of bowling, swimming, rock wall climbing, dancing to music, and watching favorite movies, a group of eco-protesters chain the doors shut until their demands are met. And so there is a night of anxiety and negotiations to take care of this problem that everyone has in that school. Congratulations, Ethan. Our next winner is Zachary Ash, who is the son of Derek and Stephanie Ash. He was nominated by Mrs. Rebecca Hartline, teacher and principal of Massillon Christian School, where he is also a senior. He was nominated for character and leadership. First Lady, the First Lady, Martha Washington, is famously quoted as saying, "I've learned from experience that the greater part of our happiness or misery depends on our disposition and not on our circumstances." And she would know. Wouldn't it be wonderful to be known for our sunny disposition in spite of circumstances? Mrs. Hartline says that Zachary fits that description perfectly. As the second oldest of 5 adopted children, Zachary has learned to overcome much and has chosen to be such a pleasant person. His peers, teachers, coaches, and family members enjoy his amiable disposition. He brings joy to everything that he's a part of and brightens every room he enters. People enjoy his leadership because he is fun to know and is a good example to follow. He has worked diligently to become the good student he is. Now he's a senior, and Mrs. Hartline states that Zach is one of those students a teacher would like to hang on to. Zachary, appreciating your growth and setting you loose on the world is one of those bittersweet moments for teachers and parents also. It sounds like you have the character to make them all proud. We are proud of you as well. The book selected for Zachary is about, oh, I forgot to say the last time, I have that book on reserve too. The book selected for Zachary is about other teens with character. Flowers in the Gutter, the true story of the teenagers who resisted the Nazis by K.R. Gaddy. This is a real life story and centers around 3 teens, Gertrude, Felix, and Jean. 3 young people involved in a youth resistance group known as the Edelweiss Pirates. Isn't that a great name? The Edelweiss Pirates. Young people who not only resisted, but fought passionately against nationalism and prejudice in a time of fascist violence in Nazi Germany. I have put this book on reserve also. I'm going to read them all. They're all the best books. So congratulations again. And thank you for being one of our winners. Okay, and here is the last student award. And this goes to Darian Williams, the son of Devin and Kelly Williams. He was nominated by Mr. David Lautenschlager, or as the students call him, Mr. Lots of Letters, principal of Washington High School. He is also a senior. So these 3 seniors have not given up and stopped doing the good things, or have they?
Mm.
He has been nominated for athletics and perseverance. Adversity is like a punch in the stomach, but overcoming hard times is what builds resiliency in us. The speed in which we bounce back from life's harshest disappointments determines the overall success and happiness we have in life. Some adversity is not easy to bounce back from, but doing hard things is what being a strong person is all about. And the benefits of being resilient are a longer life, better health, lower rates of depression, and higher satisfaction in life. Darian Williams has developed his resiliency as a young person and as a model for us all. Mr. Lautenschlager says that Darian has persevered in difficult times this year. He experienced a season-ending injury during the fall, which took away both his football and basketball seasons. In spite of this, his commitment to his teams has never wavered. He has remained positive with all of his teachers, coaches, and classmates. Darian has accepted a scholarship to Massillon University, and his principal says that we are excited about the positive influence he will continue to have on others in the future. Darian, we are proud of your resiliency and look forward to hearing about your future success. The book selected for Darian and the WHLS library is The Comic Book Story of Basketball, A Fast-Breaking History of Hoops by Fred Van Lente. This courtside seat chronicles the sport from its beginnings to today's international popularity and highlights its legendary players and coaches. I'm sure that Kobe Bryant is in that book. The humble beginnings, you probably know that basketball was first started in a YMCA in Massachusetts and has become this worldwide phenomenon. And I will tell you that the author says very frankly, the greatest player of all time, the GOAT of basketball, Michael Jordan. The author was born in Chagrin Falls, Ohio, right here, just north of us. But he does not live here any longer. He lives in the state of Washington. He has written lots of books. They are primarily comic books and graphic novels, and they all look very interesting. And there is a interview online with him that you might enjoy watching, Darian. All right. But anyway, the books here, or this book here, has lots of not just, it's just a comic book where it has great illustrations, but it has lots of good facts and reading material. There are lots of engaging true tales from the court and vivid dynamic illustrations. So you should really enjoy this. Congratulations, Darian. We're proud to be giving you this award. And I'm reading that book also. I have them all on reserve.
Thank you, Mrs. Green. And this is interesting. It's one of the first times I remember a graphic novel being included in the award-winning books, but it's definitely a format. I mean, it's a format that's so popular in the public library, and I understand in the school library as well. So that was a really cool pick. All right. Thank you, Prism Award winners and nominators. We're just thrilled to be honoring all of you. And I have now a special award that is given not from the school, not nominated from somebody else, but nominated by Massillon Public Library staff. And that is our Beacon Award winner. And this year our winner is Mrs. Christy Musey. And she was nominated by Ronna Schonk, who works in our outreach department as a specialist. So Mrs. Schonk goes into the schools. We're talking pre-COVID and hopefully after COVID when things get back to normal, as we say. But she's seen a lot and she's worked with a lot of teachers, as well as Diane Brandt from our children's department, who participates in an artful living program in Massillon preschools. So we have plenty of thumbs up for Mrs. Musey. And let me read what Mrs. Schonk says. As the coordinator for Massillon Preschool, Mrs. Musey has always been a huge supporter of Massillon Public Library. And Mrs. Musey, if you don't know, is the preschool, she's a teacher, but the program director at Franklin Elementary for the Massillon preschool. And again, the Beacon Award is promoting the use of the library, and in this case, the bookmobile, reading, and the use of the public library. All of the 12 preschool classes in Massillon use the bookmobile. Mrs. Musey also takes advantage of Artful Living, which I mentioned, Artful Living and Learning literacy lessons. That means they bring in Mrs. Brandt to talk about children's books and do special programming. So Artful Living and Learning includes the ballet and, you know, the symphony, but also literacy. And this program visits all the classes weekly and will again. And we look forward to pre-pandemic services like that. When preschool has a program for Mother's or Father's Day, a book or several is always part of the programming, showing parents how important books are. And we know that's hugely important. Mrs. Shonk says she has seen firsthand some of Mrs. Musey's students reading from library books in the classroom and says that they can really read the words. Mrs. Musey encourages her students to participate in the library's 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten program and promotes all library programs by making sure her families know what's going on at the library for their children. She helped promote the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. And if you don't know about that, students, you definitely know Dolly Parton, but there's a program where the state of Ohio and local funding from public libraries pays to have books delivered by mail to children from birth up through the end of their 4th year. So before they're 5 years old and getting ready for kindergarten, they can have a book mailed to their house every month. So that's 12 books, free books a year. So if you know children that age, tell them to call the library. We'll get them hooked up with that. But when we were able to roll that out a few years ago, Mrs. Musey made sure she promoted it, handed out, collected applications so that children could take advantage of getting those free books. I've read that it takes a big heart to help shape little minds. At the library, we know that those little minds will be forever changed by developing a love of reading and an exposure to the public library. We honor you, Mrs. Musey. You make a difference. The book selected for Franklin's Library is We Are Water Protectors by Carol Lindstrom and illustrated by Michaela Goad. This is a book for ages 4 through 6. This bold and lyrical Caldecott winning picture book, and that's an important award that goes to children's books for illustration, and a New York Times bestseller, issues an urgent rallying cry to save the Earth's most valuable resource from harm when a black snake threatens to poison her people's water. So what an important message that can resonate with small children through a picture book. And those are so important to introduce at that age. And we really thank you, Mrs. Musey. We look forward to working with you and Franklin very shortly. And we're just so appreciative of how you connect students and their families to the library. Thank you very much. Hey. And the one good thing about Zoom is we're already done, but I can't give you a cookie or anything. So we'd love to see you. The library's open. We've been open since July. We're just starting now to make baby steps towards getting in-person programming back. I think we're looking at July as we start to promote new programming. So we appreciate you all. We thank you for being here tonight. Mrs. Klein, do you have anything else in the way of closing?
I would just like to add that you're going to be receiving your certificate and your awards through our delivery which goes to the schools each Friday. So possibly if I get in there tomorrow, you might be getting something tomorrow, but the delivery guy might leave before I get there. So definitely next Friday, your principal should be getting your items, and you'll get your book, your certificate, you'll get the comments read by the board members, and special aluminum onlay bookmark for the Prism Award. And Mrs. Musi will get her Beacon Award.
Yay. Wonderful. Again, thank you so much. Have a great evening.